If we can finish Pokemon Y without any losses today, I'd be comfortable calling Kalos the easiest region in the franchise to Nuzlocke. Chespin was my first partner in Kalos over 10 years ago. Damn, I'm old. And Froakie got us started in the last leg, which means it's Fennekin's time to shine. I'm sure Finn has the stuff to see us through to the end, and he proves he's got it right away by torching Shauna's Chespin. Like I said I would in the last leg, I invest time up front to unlock all of the super training courses. Fully sorting EVs as soon as Amon joins the team will be hugely beneficial to us even in the early game. Once that's handled and Serena's tutorial ends, the team makes its first additions. We catch Cooper the Zigzagoon on Route 2, Pimento the Panseer in Santaloon Forest, and Mino the Burmy on Route 3 before reaching Santaloon City. Finn trains up to the cap by taking on the gym trainers before I move on to Route 22. Eventually, we make our next addition to the team in Dun 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 the Dunsparce. Not sure what I was thinking when I chose that nickname. The Fire-type Finn is already set to solo the gym battle, but I'm feeling inspired and push Dun 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 to the cap before we make the attempt. Instead of going with the obvious solution, he takes point. Defense Curl followed by Rollout Oko Surskit to start. Vivian uses Harden, but Rollout still overwhelms and ends the battle. With the badge in hand, we move on to Route 4, adding Flo the Flabebe to the team. The team builds their power up as we approach Lumio City, and Finn evolves into Braixen. After an introduction, we take Sycamore on in battle. Dun 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 repeats his Gym 1 play and uses Defense Curl before starting to roll out. 2 hits on Bulbasaur, 1 each on Squirtle and Charmander, and the Professor is beaten. Early game Dunsparce is kinda nutty. Once everyone finishes yapping at us, we move on to Route 5 where we accidentally kill our Skiddo encounter. Feels like it's been ages since we've made that mistake. The team's power levels continue to rise as we reach Camphreer Town. We waste no time in cornering Furfrou, watch the fireworks at a more appropriate time, and knock Snorlax aside. Only 2 more games left with this hefty barricade. Coco the Spritzy joins up from Route 7, but won't see any use as we already have Flo for fairy coverage. Serena and I then get into our friendly double battle with Trevor and Tierno. Finn does most of the heavy lifting, decimating the 3 Pokemon that the boys send out. Afterwards, in the connecting cave, I go out of my way to send Mino out in battle. Doing so changes her cloak to the Sandy variant, influencing her impending evolution. On the other side, we find and catch Oingo Boingo the Spoink on Route 8 and reach Ambret Town. Triple H the Hippopotas is added to the reserves from Route 9, and after a short Rhyhorn ride, we're deep in the Glittering Cave. Team Flare offers the gang some well-needed XP as we work our way towards the Oblivious Scientist and receive the Jaw Fossil. Tyrannus the Tyrant is resurrected from the fossil, making for a solid addition to the team. Finn and Dun 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 are starting to pull ahead, so the stragglers take some time to catch up. Flo evolves into Floette before we move on to Slash City. Training for the entire squad continues as we take the gym trainers on next, which prompts Cooper to evolve into Linoon and Mino into Wormadam. Once the gang is ready, we issue our challenge to Grant. Our team comp is not ideally suited to challenge a rock specialist, but Dun 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 is looking to add another win to his list as he starts us off. We're paralyzed by Amara, but deal some big damage with Ancient Power before we're forced out. The Refrigerate boosted takedown nearly ends Tyrannus before he's able to secure the KO, leaving Grant's own Tyrant to contend with. Mino deals massive damage with Bulldoze to 2-hit KO, ending the battle. With a sigh of relief, we work our way to Geosenge Town, catching Gundam the Golett on the way. Finn takes the lead as we get into an impromptu battle with Karina, defeating the first Lucario with ease and teeing Mino up to take the other down before we're free to move on. Our encounter on Route 11 is the adorable Dedenne, which I dub Killua. The electric-type coverage will go a long way as we progress. The team is pretty much set in stone at this stage, but I wanted to show you this Chingling I caught in Reflection Cave. I named him Shrillium. By far the best nickname I've come up with. Anyway, the team reaches Shalour City, getting stronger every step of the way. Once the Mega Evolution explanation ends, Serena and I face off for ownership of the Mega Ring. Tyrannus sets up rocks and weakens Meowstic to start, then I get Finn to take over, setting up a light screen and finishing the kitty off. Dun 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 wrecks Frogadier with some return attacks. With just Absol left to contend with, I cycle through Flo who gets wrecked by Slash, and then Mino who ends things with Bug Bite. The gang then trains up to the cap and we challenge Karina for our 3rd badge. Flo does a great job against Mienfoo through her spam of Fairy Wind, forcing Karina to burn all of her Hyper Potions early. As Machoke enters and slows her down with a crit Rock Tomb, Flo uses Wish. Mino is healed on the switch-in and starts to trade, using Bulldoze to eventually take Machoke down. Finally, Killua makes his debut against Hawlucha, using Nuzzle to paralyze, and then using a charge-amped Parabolic Charge to KO. Mega Evolution is acquired again, and Flo evolves into Florges as we work our way over to Coumarine City. Thanks for the help, Skiddo. Before we can challenge the gym, Serena must be battled. Mino makes short work of Meowstic using Bug Bite, and Killua goes back and forth with Frogadier, getting the KO and a free pivot with Volt Switch. Flo decimates Absol thanks to the type advantage last, clearing a path to the gym. After some brief training, the team is ready for the next gym battle. Finn is dropped low before taking Jumpluff down, having to rely on the wimpy Ember attack to do so. As Gogoat enters and uses Bulldoze, I get Mino onto the field. She's able to shrug off Gogoat's attacks and use Bug Bite to take it out with health to spare. Mino keeps the pressure up and takes Weepinbell down with no resistance to end the battle. The team's escapades in the power plant against Team Flare start to play out in very similar fashion, with Finn's evolution into Delphox. The Grunts are no match for our squad, providing XP as we reach the center to battle the admin. Tyrannus takes Baldi's Houndoom down, and we start our battle with the first of the scientists. Killua doesn't one-shot her Mightyena like Viola did before, but Nuzzle and a couple parabolic charges get the job done just as handily. Training is completed like clockwork, and we get into a battle with Clement for badge number 5. Mino leads against Emolga, using Rock Blast to take it down. Magneton sets up Electric Terrain, and hangs on with its sturdy ability as Bulldoze decimates it. Clement heals Magneton multiple times until he accepts defeat and lets it go down. Heliolisk has no solid answer for Mino as it enters the field and is dropped by Bulldoze and Bug Bite. Wormadam enjoyers, rise up! Mino continues to enjoy the spotlight as she leads against Meowstic in another battle with Serena. Bug Bite does its thing, taking it out with ease. Absol also feels Mino's Bug Bite and goes down in an Oko. Not looking to lose her to Greninja, I get Dun 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 to take over. He uses Coil to power up and return Okos immediately afterwards. A bunch of training ensues as we work our way through the Swampy Rod 14 towards Laver City, and soon get our next gym battle started. Finn leads this time, and uses Flamethrower to Oko Mawile. Valerie's Ace Sylveon is especially defensive, but Psyshock calculates its damage using the target's physical defense. Psyshock hits hard as a result, leading to a clean 2-hit KO. We're gaming out here. Finally, Finn's Flamethrower deals crazy damage, burning Mr. Mime to knock it out for the win. Team Flare forces us through a quick tour of the Pokeball Factory, which leads Tyrannus to evolve into the monstrous Tyrantrum. Tyrannus uses his newfound power to wreck the admin, using Dragon Claw and Rock Tomb to knock her Pokemon out. Tyrannus continues to put in work against scientists, using Rock Tomb a couple of times to defeat Liepard and Manectric alongside Meowstic. We make a beeline for Team Flare again in the Frost Cavern, teaming up with Trevor to beat the Grunts up. After zapping Golbat out of the sky, Killua poisons Manectric. I try to send Tyrannus out, but the guy keeps using Roar, ultimately forcing Finn to finish the battle. Mabel's Houndoom is ended by Killua's Thunderbolt, saving Abomasnow. We get our next battle with Serena started in Anastar City next. Tyrannus one-shots Meowstic with Crunch after taking some damage, and Greninja is up next. I stay in, hoping to get a hit in before switching, but Dark Pulse flinches, nearly taking Tyrannus out. Okay, I'll just get Flo to one-shot with Dazzling Gleam instead. Apparently, Serena has the strongest Flareon ever, as it bites a huge chunk out of Finn. Dun 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 comes to the rescue, using Roost to stay healthy as the two trade. Return finally takes Flareon down, and Mino handles Absol as usual. I'm sure the crit didn't matter there. The team powers up to the cap as always, and we challenge Olympia to a battle. Killua starts to build our momentum by taking Sigilyph out with Thunderbolt. Slowking and Killua trade debuffs as we use Toxic, and it uses Yawn. Volt Switch does big damage and Flo takes over. Slowking nearly takes Killua out with Psychic, but thanks to Toxic racking up damage, Slowking eventually falls. Flinched by Fake Out and put to sleep by Yawn, Finn is unable to set up a light screen like I wanted. Dun 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 takes to the field anyway, and lands a crit poison jab as Meowstic sets up Calm Mind. Dun 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 tanks Meowstic's +2 Psychic and then uses Return, ending the battle. Whew, that was stressful. Thankfully, we only have Team Flare's entire operation to bust up next. Lysandre's attempt at resistance in his Lumio City base is first on the agenda. Flo's Moonblast deletes Mienfoo, but doesn't do nearly as well against Gyarados. Killua takes over and uses Volt Switch to KO and pivot into Tyrannus. Murkrow falls to Rock Tomb, and Pyro does decent damage with Dark Pulse before falling to Rock Tomb and Crunch. We spin our way into the elevator key and challenge Xerosic next. Killua toughs it out against Crobat's Cross Poison to take it out with Thunderbolt, then Mino trades with Malamar for the win. I push the red button knowing it's wrong, and skip straight to the activation of the weapon. Lysandre takes another crack at stopping us from stopping him in the Geosenge base next. Like last time, Moonblast goes crazy on me and Xiao, but I pivot into Killua straight away this time as Gyarados is sent out. Thunderbolt Okos and Pyroar is up next. I use Volt Switch, dealing decent damage, and pivot into Flow to tank whatever attack Pyroar uses. I double into Tyrannus and use Rock Tomb to clean up the Lion, then use Rock Tomb again to finish Honchkrow off. Serena and I then work together to reach the dormant Yveltal. The squad of admins stand absolutely no chance and are busted up by the gang once we make it inside. With them out of the way, Yveltal wakes up in style and goes straight to the PC in a quick ball. I didn't even need to use a Master Ball. These newer legendaries are too eager to be your friend. Lysandre makes his last stand afterwards. Flo uses Moonblast to take me and Xiao and Honchkrow out, then takes her time setting up Calm Mind against Pyroar. Wish keeps our health up until Pyroar is felled. Upon Mega Evolving, Gyarados gains the Dark type, which leads to a super effective Moonblast, taking it out for the win. Instead of cursing us with immortality, Lysandre just wants to blow our asses up. At least this way the weapon's self-destruction makes sense. Why would an immortality beam deal physical damage? Before we can jump Wulfric for the last badge, we have to run the gauntlet. First up, Professor Sycamore. Finn's Flamethrower takes Venusaur out to start, and Killua's Thunderbolt handles Blastoise and Charizard for the win. Shauna is next. Delcatty falls to Thunderbolt, and Killua applies Toxic to Goodra before Volt switching to Tyrannus. He shrugs Sludge Wave off, then uses Dragon Claw to KO Goodra. Finn faces off against Chestnut and Okos with Flamethrower. Tierno tries to be cute and uses Quick Attack before Killua's Thunderbolt takes his Talonflame out. Volt switch into Finn leads to a Flamethrower KO on Roserade, and Crawdon is smoked by Flo's Moonblast. Last in line for a beatdown is Trevor. Instead of switching straight to Mino, Killua Toxic stalls Raichu, ultimately taking it out with Thunderbolt. I use Volt Switch as Trevor's Florges is sent out and pivot to Dun Dun Dun. Poison Jab decimates Florges for the KO. Last is the Battle of the Fossils, short-lived thanks to Tyrannus' overwhelming power. The team finishes training up and we challenge Wulfric. We go for the obvious play this time, using Finn's Flamethrower to OHKO Abomasnow, Avalugg, and Cryogonal. Seriously, stop putting Ice-type gyms at the end. They're too easy. We're looking poised to finish deathless as we make the trek through Victory Road, challenging Serena one last time. Mino deals with Meowstic again, using Bug Bite to 2-hit KO. Flo takes her place against Greninja and uses Moonblast to OHKO. I try again to get Finn to deal with the Nightmarish Flareon, and he does much better this time. A couple of Psyshocks and Flareon is down. Tyrannus trades with Absol to eventually KO, and then takes Altaria down to end the battle. After completing our final preparations, the Elite Four is on the horizon. Our first opponent this time is Vikstrom. Finn's Flamethrower OHKO's Klefki to start, and then 2-hit KO's Probopass. Flamethrower then OHKO's Scizor and Aegislash for the win. Tyrannus leads as we challenge Drasna next. Dragon Claw OHKO's Dragalge and Altaria before I pivot into Flo. Noivern's Dragon Pulse is nullified and Air Slash is shrugged off before Moonblast connects, taking it and then Druddigan out to end things. Killua begins his massacre of Seabold's team, using Thunderbolt to OHKO all but Starmie. Starmie outspeeds and uses a Light Screen which leads to it surviving. Unfortunately, Surf isn't enough to stop Killua from finishing the job. Malva is last, and I lead with Killua to start. Thunderbolt and then Volt Switch take Pyroar down and get Tyrannus out cleanly. Rock Tomb is an OHKO on Torkoal, Chandelure, and Talonflame, leaving just Diantha standing in our way. Killua starts the battle off once again, and uses Thunderbolt to take Hawlucha down. Volt Switch does more damage than I would have expected on Tyrantrum, and I send Mino out to tank Head Smash. Thanks to Leftovers and Protect, Mino survives another Head Smash and uses Earthquake to finish Tyrantrum off. I send in our specially defensive Flo as Aurora sets up dual screens, then start to use Calm Mind. Auroras doesn't miss Blizzard a single time, and manages to freeze Flo on Blizzard number 3. Flo's Wish keeps her healthy, but I do not want to switch. Flo can end the battle alone if she thaws. Aurora starts dropping Thunder on us and reapplies screens as I wait for Flo to thaw out. Thankfully she does, and I'm able to continue to boost up before being paralyzed. Damn. Oh well. Energy Ball takes Aurora's out, and Goodra does nothing damage before falling to Moonblast. Gourgeist uses Trick or Treat, adding the Ghost type to us before falling to Moonblast next. Finally, Mega Gardevoir uses Shadow Ball to no avail, and Moonblast ends the run, deathless. This was a bizarre team to run with. Half of the team is occupied by certified shitters, but they were the ones that clutched up the most. I wouldn't have it any other way. Finishing deathless with a team like this cements in my mind that Kalos is the easiest region to play through. With the challenges imposed on me by me though, it was a blast to experience Kalos again. Admittedly, Team Flare being brain-dead easy to contend with, and the oversaturation of friends with little substance brought my enjoyment down to a simmer at the worst of times. The Fennekin, Burmy, Dunsparce, Flabebe, Tyrant Lines, and Dedenne join the ban list as we gear up to return to Hoenn next time.